There it is.
All right, go ahead.
Great. All right, so welcome to the very basics of Phabricator. The plan for today is to give a very basic introduction to Phabricator. And this is probably going to take 15 or 20 minutes. Then we have space and time for questions and answers. So am I still screen sharing? If not, I should do that now.
You should try again.
Okay, perfect. So this is mediawiki.org/wiki/Phabricator. And this is the central planning page. This also explains why we are changing to Phabricator. So you can see here the history behind it, the reasons why we're doing this. You see the past steps here, so you can read up the whole story for the last months, how this decision was made and why, and what work has been already done on this. So originally now I wanted to show you logging in and creating an account, but unfortunately we have not yet enabled the registration because we still have to sort out small things which took longer than expected. So I'm now only going to show you how it will look like in a few days when you're going to try this. So when you go to Phabricator.wikimedia.org, I should probably show that first. This is the page. I should zoom in a little bit. And I'm already logged in here. But normally in the upper right corner, you would see a power button, how it looks like. And when you click on that, you will have a button which allows you to register. This uses OAuth, so you will end up on the MediaWiki.org page where OAuth asks you to allow access. Afterwards, you go back to Phabricator. You define your username, which does not have to be exactly the same, the email address, your real name, and then you click register, and you will receive an email, and you're supposed to verify it. And the instructions are in the email. So this is how things are supposed to work once we have completely enabled registration. Sorry that it's not there yet. So this is the front page. As you can see, there's a few pieces of information here. You see the activity here, what has happened. You can take newly created tasks. You also have an overview, what's assigned to yourself, what you're supposed to work on. And I'd first like to show you how to create a task. So Phabricator is a tool which has which is not only for managing bug reports and tasks, but this is the first thing that we're after now in the next weeks to enable. And the tool to manage tasks and bugs in Phabricator is called Manifest. So to create a task, you click the plus button here in the corner, and then it allows you...
Now or at a certain point later?
Sorry, again?
Would you like questions as we go or at a certain point later?
You can ask if you want to. Go ahead.
So prior to Wikimedia, at Autodesk we used Jira, and one of the things that was really great about this kind of main page in Jira was that it was like customizable modules, so individual users could have a module on this page that was things assigned to them or things in a specific project. Does Phabricator have that ability on this main page?
To some extent. I've only played a little bit with Jira, so I'm not entirely sure if it's the same. But what you're seeing here, the front page, this is already customized stuff, so it's not the default view. And
Okay.
we're very happy to sort out specific requests and if they're doable. And even if it's not doable currently, upstream has been impressively, helping us and being responsive, basically.
I can reply a bit more about this. So this is totally custom. So it looks like this because we have decided that it should look like this. As a user, if you don't like it, you can create your own homepage. You just go to the application dashboards and you can create whatever you want.
Cool. Thanks, Tim.
All right, so creating a task. Either in the upper corner, it's not only about tasks, as you can see. You can also create design images and other things. Or you just click Report a Problem here. And it will bring you to a very clean, simple form to report your problem. So I can enter now some title. I can put people into the CC list, for example, Kim, Jill, or others. And you can easily also remove these people again by clicking the small X button. You can define visibility, though this is something to keep as is normally.
You can because you are an admin, but users are not going to see this.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, true. That was part of. Thank you. True, you're right. Yeah, I was thinking of removing my admin for a short moment, but then I couldn't have shown you other things later. And projects is type ahead. So task can be part of a project. Task can also be part of several projects or no project at all. So this is very different from, for example, if you use Bugzilla, there you have a structure that one task or bug report is part of one product and one component. While here, a task can be part of 0 projects. So a new user who might not know where to file it just leaves it empty, and the triager picks it up and puts the right project there. Or it can be part of several projects. And if you use Bugzilla, you also know keywords, for example, like accessibility and so on, which are across components. And it's going to be the same here, that these keywords in Bugzilla, like accessibility and so on, will also be projects. So once this is set up here, you could also add accessibility here as a project.
So thinking about from like our public users of this perspective, if we can change the label of the field to projects and tags or something along those lines, and I would say the same thing about the next field after that. If this is in-user facing, we might want to make sure that we use very clear and not jargony labels for some of these fields if we can change that.
We do soon, or we will soon remove this weird xref field here, or at least make it non-editable anymore. This is just not fixed yet.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Then you can define security restrictions, because RT will also be migrated to Phabricator. That's the tool mostly used by operations, and they have specific requirements that tasks are not entirely public. And this will automatically set restrictive access for it. And then you can add a description to your task, as usual, trying to provide steps to reproduce and whatever. And you see, this is like an HTML editor or whatever editor you want to compare it with. There's things to put here. Advanced, we will also be able to create tasks by sending and using the web interface. So this is the simple, except for the visible here, as I'm an admin, but this is the simple interface that normal average users will see. You see that there's, for example, right now no priority fields. Let me go back to the front page of Phabricator and go to projects here. And here we have several projects. And I now go to the active ones here, not the ones I have already joined. So these are the active projects we currently have, and I want to join a project called Triagers. So I'm now on the project page for Triagers. Every project has an overview page like this. So you can see the open tasks here, and also go to Workboards. I don't think it's set up for this project, but I will show you in 2 minutes. I want to join this triages project because here it says join with a typo this project to obtain permissions to set priority, status, and assigned fields. So this is the way how we currently create a simple bug task creation interface. And now if I reload this form, you see that there's a few more fields, like assigned to, where I can enter one developer or whoever is supposed to work on this, and also setting a priority. So this is creating tasks. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I had a question. I was wondering, in the description and possibly in the title, does it have the same kind of sort of data shortcuts, so you can have bug colon something, Garrett colon something, git colon, what kind of, does it sort of support the same sort of kind of auto linking that Bugzilla does?
Currently not like that, because in Bugzilla this is a customization in our code via regular expressions, and we currently do not have it like this here. There is a markup language on its own in Phabricator. Some parts might even collide. It's pretty simple to MediaWiki markup, and I think we have to see in the future how this works. What I recommend for the time being is using full URLs, because they are fail-safe, so yeah.
But you can do like T number for a task that's in Phabricator.
Yes, but that's like really exactly stuff that's internal to Phabricator. So if I want to link to another task which starts with T, I just enter T123, and it will provide a pop-up and be rendered differently, and the pop-up will tell me what this task is. I should show this probably because you also have a description preview down there, which is also something you don't have in Bugzilla, for example. And if this worked, obviously it doesn't for me. Now it comes, okay. So you see down here in the description preview, it's rendered differently, and if I put my mouse pointer over it, you see the actual task you're linking to. In the same way, there's other things like, for example, using some, what's the names? Using the @ sign, for example, so to mention people, like Greg is registered here. So, and there's more things like that, but they're all in the documentation that I'm going to link to later. So I just wanted to show some examples for this.
Can a new task be created via an email inbox, or is it strictly via the web GUI?
Can you repeat this, please?
Can I create a new task by sending an email? So an email to new task.
You will be able to, yeah. I think it's probably not very visible, but here it's written in small font that you can also create tasks by sending an email. Because this is also how RT works, and operations needs this. I quickly want to show you a project dashboard. As you see, the triages project here, there's a Workboards link in that corner, but there's nothing set up here.
You might want to increase. Sorry, you might want to increase the font in general for the.
Even more. Okay, I already did. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So this is a workboard, and this is currently the workboard for the project called Phabricator Production Instance, which we obviously have not completely finished yet. Otherwise, you would be able to log in and do other stuff already. So you see, you can define columns here, like backlog, which is the one by default, and further ones which you might prefer yourself, like ready to go or doing. You can also, you see how many tasks are in this column. You can also define a maximum of tasks in this column, and you can filter the view, sort it differently, do lots of things here. So this is basically how workboards look, and you can also simply move tasks here via drag and drop with your mouse pointer. So you can see this here. And the quick way to edit them, of course, is to click here to go to the edit view.
Andre, does this support adding up story point totals for everything in a column?
We have not yet support for story points. This would be a custom field that we can easily introduce. However, we're currently waiting for a burn down chart extension, which is developed by a third-party volunteer together with Upstream a bit. And Wikimedia Germany is currently playing with this on Labs instance, and once they're happy with the functionality, we are going to introduce, I think they call it UI points or something, as a custom field here. But this will be a few weeks after we're done with, for example, migrating Bugzilla and RT and everything.
Okay.
One thing there, Andre, is that you can, so you see on the backlog column is that number 6, and on the ready to go is number 7. So you can visually limit the number of things in progress. For instance, if you have a Kanban system where you want to limit the number of tasks in progress, you can visually do that.
All right. Yes. Thanks. As I was zooming in anyway, I'm going to zoom in a bit more because you can see how the interface changes. If you see the top bar, you still have the search field there, but if I zoom in a lot, it's pretty nice design, so it should also work on other devices with smaller screens. All right, let's go back to the project overview. I should still have a bigger size here, like this. Overview page.
Andre, before you go back, can you just on here quickly say what's making the colors, if I didn't miss that? Why do they have...
You mean the colors on the left here?
Yeah.
This is the priority field in the task itself.
Okay, thanks.
And as you can see here, oh, I'm already part of this project, but I should probably show you instead for a project I'm not part of, like analytics.
Andre, can you actually show where that priority is assigned in a task for me and S and everyone?
Can you repeat that, please?
The color is assigned by priority. Can you actually show in an actual task how that is set and where that is set?
So I'll just click the one task we have here in analytics, and it's probably, yeah, priority normal, because normal is orange and high is red, but I'm not sure if we display somewhere like which color means which priority.
Yeah, that'd be real cool if there was some secondary...
That might be a good idea, yeah, you're right. And if you want to change the priority here or other fields, you see that this is a separate view from editing. So this is just displaying information here, while if you want to change the data here, you go to Edit Tasks from Bugzilla. These are separate views. So you can follow a task by subscribing to it if you're interested in an actual task, while if you want to follow a whole project or want to become a member of it, you just click Edit Members. No, Join Project. Sorry, Edit Members is because I'm an admin probably. So you join this project, and then you also receive notifications for it. So any kind of changes in the tasks, open tasks of that project, you receive notifications for. So if you're a developer or just interested in the progress there, this is a good way to follow up. If this is not fine-grained enough, there's lots more settings for notifications in Phabricator, which are linked from the help page that I'm going to show you later. All right. So I should probably still cover searching for a short moment. You see the search. Sorry.
On tasks, I saw on the when you were in the task, it said create subtask. Is that the Phabricator equivalent of a blocker issue?
Create. I didn't totally get it.
So you were here on this one, and there's an item on the right-hand side that says create subtask.
Subtasks.
Is that the Phabricator? Is that the concept of like in Bugzilla we have like a blocker or kind of a parent issue? Is this the Phabricator equivalent?
Yes. This is a bit like the depends on and blogs in Bugzilla. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks. So to search for things, there's this bar here up there. So if I enter, for example, login and press the enter key, I get the list here of tasks which include the word login. If I scroll, I can change again my query. But as Phabricator consists of several applications and the task tracker is just one, you get the results here for all the tools and applications included. If you only want to search for tasks, you can here click the document type, or explicitly go via the front page, project. No, I should go back, sorry. Front page manifest here, and then I can go to advanced search, and there you have way more options to group things by iEnter contains one. And you also see here that the results look a bit different. So, for example, here you again have the colors and more information and assignee and dates and so on, because this is a specific view for tasks. And you can share this search URL. You might not be aware of it, but the URL that you have in your browser, this is a static one for this specific query. So if you want exactly these results or run this search again in a few days, or want to share this with team members, you can, for example, put it on a wiki page to share this search. Last thing I have on my list, I'm already 20 minutes, so sorry. Up here, there's the link to my user page. If I had already set a nice image or avatar, this wouldn't be this gray-white thingy here. But your user page allows you to see your last activity, what you have worked on, and what else do we have? Yeah, you can also edit your profile and put way more information there. And this is also, I don't want to go too much into details, but this will also be the way how you will be able to claim the imported tasks from Bugzilla and RT by filling in your information here. But this is stuff to sort out probably in an advanced session. All right. Before we end up with general questions and answers, I just want to go back again to the Phabricator page on mediawiki.org, because there we also have the migration timeline, which shows you which tasks we still have to work out. This will change. It's not definite when you see some dates. It's a bit optimistic, because there's always things that you didn't expect. And down here, yeah, get started. You're very invited to play with the test instance on fab-01.wmflabs.org. And you see here there's also more information, like a comparison to what Bugzilla offered. And we have a help and an FAQ, which might also answer some of your questions. And if it doesn't, add an entry to the talk discussion page, and we're happy to answer. All right, that's it from my side so far. Please comment, question, whatever.
Will the migration from like the me saving my own bugs that either I created or that were assigned to me, is that going to happen automatically as long as I have the right email address in there, or is there like some manual process that has to happen beyond adding my email address in?
So Chase can probably better answer this in detail, but the basic idea is you register in this system at some point in the very soon future. We're going to import the RT and Bugzilla tickets. Then you say in Phabricator which email was yours in Bugzilla, which you used as an ID there. Then you verify this. And then we are very likely going to run a script in the background, which will, in the database, link these tasks and accounts as it should be to your account. This will not happen immediately because it needs to scale, and we have per month about 500 active Bugzilla users, and if they all try at the same time. but this is very high level explaining how it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Andre, if you go to the main page of Phabricator, and then the settings stuff in the bottom left-hand corner, if you show the email portion, I think that'll make more sense.
You mean now on the wiki or Phabricator itself?
Phabricator itself, and then go to bottom left-hand corner, the Customize Applications thing.
Ah, thank you.
And then if you go to email addresses, underneath the
Oh
email.
yeah, that's thank you. Yeah, true.
So basically, if you add an email here, and then you get an email and you verify it, to
Add a new address, yeah.
more or less, that is all that you would need to use an end user. And if the email that you register with initially is the same email that you had in whatever legacy systems, and you verified it, then you're done. But as far as as far as the timeliness of the metadata getting backdated, I mean, obviously, it's hard to test at the scale that we'll have it, but it's taking a couple minutes per user for the data set we have now, or a minute anyway. So it may take a couple days or a week, I don't know, to work through the backlog of initial sign-up rush, but the idea being that you don't have to go back through and assign to yourself, 10,000 tickets or whatever from Bugzilla. That should all work fine.
Cool. Another question about the kind of mentioning of users. When you did the account setup, you had both an email address, a username, and a real name. When you're mentioning someone or adding them to a bug or a task, can you match on all three of those things?
In Phabricator itself, you only have your Phabricator username. So normally you don't have to deal at all with any kind of email addresses or so.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking more along the lines of a few weeks ago I sent out a thread basically saying that some people have usernames on Bugzilla that are different from their IRC or on Wiki or in real life names, and it's very difficult to find them in Bugzilla in order to assign a task to them or mention them. So if people are entering real names or email addresses, we pretty much know what people's email addresses are internally. If there's some way to include emails in search, that's at least a consistent way to find people.
Well, emails aren't going to be public.
This is a common complaint about Bugzilla, that email addresses are displayed. It's the second most common complaint I get about Bugzilla, that you don't have enough privacy. So I'd rather recommend that people add additional information to their user page on Phabricator if they use other nicknames in other systems.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a little circular because you have to know their username in order to find their user page in order to reference them.
No, you can search for the real name of the user as long as the user, of course, has introduced it in your profile. So
you can search for them in Phabricator, but not in assigning a task to them?
Yes. I mean, of course, you have to search first, and then you will know the username.
So I'm now in the create new task one, and the assignee field is here as I'm a member of the Triage group. And you see Kim has the username QJill, but as he has entered his full name, I can also just enter Kim, and the proposal will be there. So it's up to the users if they want to expose or enter their real name. And I mean, you can also enter additionally your IRC nick if you want to, and then it would be also found here. So it's a bit up to the users how much.
Multiple strings in the real name field, then that would be a much greater likelihood that we'd be able to match something when searching for them.
Andre, I have a question from IRC. How and when is the migration of current projects like Puzzle going to happen?
How? I didn't catch the second word, sorry.
How and when?
How and when? So we currently have the migration plan on the MediaWiki.org/wiki/Phabricator page, which tells you some dates. We plan to start with the RT migration. and then with the Bugzilla migration. This date here says earliest 29th. As I said before, these dates are very optimistic. This might also be 1 week later, and it's the same with Bugzilla because we still have a few things to sort out, and as usual, things are more complicated than expected. So RT has a smaller user base, mostly operations and lower level things. So this can happen on a weekday, while for Bugzilla we prefer to migrate to start on a Friday and take the weekend, so developers on their work days are a bit less affected by it. That's my basic answer. I'm not sure if it answers the question though.
You might just say how long in advance they'll be notified of that change. I think the intention is at least 2 weeks.
Yes, that's true. At least 2 weeks. We currently have a banner already up on Bugzilla, but it doesn't tell you dates. But exactly, we want to notify at least 2 weeks in advance. Right now, I think we haven't talked yet to legal if we can do that, but we might even notify via email once all registered Bugzilla users, if we're allowed to do that. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. So I just got another IRC question via private message, which asks where people should report itself. And basically, it's similar to Bugzilla in the tool itself. So we have a project called Phabricator. In Phabricator, there you can create tasks, and if you're an advanced user or a bit tech savvy, you might also be able to figure out first if this is rather something that also should go into upstream development, which means of developers which just work full-time on Phabricator and are not consumers like we are basically here in downstream. More questions, please.
Hi, this is Essen in the office. Will WMF users be sort of identified specially? I mean, right now in Bugzilla, when somebody chimes in, you kind of go look, and if it's a wikimedia.org account, you kind of pay more attention. When we're trying to manage a project, and John Doe says this is absolutely top priority for the next quarter, how do you kind of go, well, that's some person I've never heard of from the community, or are we going to solve that socially?
I think we should solve that socially because we don't, as I said, we don't expose, for example, the email address if it was at wikimedia.org one. We also have staffers, WMF people in Bugzilla who use, for example, a Gmail address or so on. So I'd rather propose to solve that socially, that you use a username with WMF suffix or something like that.
So to continue that, I mean, we have pretty strict policies on Wiki about who can have a WMF suffix. Will you and the other people who are kind of maintaining Phabricator be policing that to make sure only WMF people add the suffix WMF to their usernames?
I don't plan to police that. If somebody who you should follow tells you to do things in your company, you should better do them. But I'm not the police guy at the corner checking. I might tell you though if I'm in the mood and realize. I don't know.
The converse of that.
Anyone can put WMF at the end of their name.
Yeah,
it's not meaningful in Phabricator, is what I think.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. Yeah, you're right. We need to think more about that. You're right. Yeah.
You can pretend to be loud.
Yeah, that's kind of my point.
I think I'm not sure if this is still experimental, but I think we allow linking to the MediaWiki account in Phabricator.
Just to be clear, Lila said that Bugzilla is out of scope for the WMF suffix.
all right.
Explicitly said so.
Yeah, so none of that is actually what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Yeah, just making it sure.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can talk more offline. I think this is maybe more of a complex conversation than.
I think if there's abuse in usernames, we can just act as other Wikimedia projects. I guess there's processes for deal with abuse with usernames.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. I think back to S's original question was kind of more along the lines of, for those who maintain Phabricator, does the concept of a staff account or a staff flag account, even if the rights don't change, just for the way OIT manages like a WMF account on Wiki is slightly different. Then even if the rights are not different, they can be administered differently.
When someone leaves, we turn them off.
That kind of thing.
To be discussed. I don't think we have discussed this.
Cool. I guess we could set up a group in Phabricator itself, which is invite-only, that you cannot simply become a member of. I don't think it's currently possible to display something next to the username, depending on whether the user is part of that group. But I've seen this implementation in Bugzilla, and I guess we can sort this out in a few months if we want to have something like that.
Okay.
Are you waiting for questions? I have tons more.
Go ahead.
So I was looking, it seems like projects can have multiple boards, but I looked at a few and none of them actually do have more than one work board. So how does that work, and what would be the point of that?
Projects don't have multiple workboards.
Yeah, I myself am not aware that this is possible. You would have, for example, sprints as projects, and they can have a board. But as far as I know, you cannot have several workboards for one project.
Well, it does say plural. I mean, the link, if you go to the project page, there's a link to Workboards, and everyone I've been to, it's either it hasn't been set up or you just see one. But it would make sense to have sort of previous sprints or backlog or things like that. Maybe
if the problem is the plural S, then it's the plural S which is the problem. The truth is that as of today, one project is one workboard, and if you need more workboards, then you need more projects.
Oh. Okay.
Andre, where are the quips?
I'm afraid that is a severe regression from Bugzilla. Quips are these small sentences that are displayed at the top of the search results, which anybody can add such quips in the system. So mostly funny sentences or so. And I hope that somebody is going to provide an extension in upstream Phabricator to support that.
Can I ask that once we are actually allowed to log in, we have another meeting maybe that just focuses on custom dashboard creation for the main page? Because I think that could be super useful, but probably only once we can actually log in.
I volunteer doing that. I have plenty of fun with dashboards, and I would love to share this passion with others.
Thank you.
All right, I'll put you on the calendar, Kim.
Is there any concept of wanting maybe a work board, a Kanban style board being up all the time? Like if we had a dashboard in the office, or just a read-only view of that kind of thing? Is that a simple thing to put together?
I didn't understand.
Imagine if I have a giant TV that's over by Jared's desk, and it has Jared's team's projects in real time on the board, just as if it, just a status board, a display board, a kiosk. Keep using words.
So I see why not. The only thing is the real-time refresh. You would need to reload that browser with your magical script.
Yeah, there's plugins for that. Cool. So that's easy from a read-only perspective.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think I caught that earlier when Andre made a change to something. There's no kind of nice modern Ajaxiness to any of the interface on Phabricator. Everything requires page reloads.
There is some there's a real-time daemon that you can run that does this kind of stuff with Node.js, but it really hasn't been an implementation priority. I don't necessarily know how it performs at scale, but it would do stuff like someone just edited the ticket you're viewing kind of stuff with a little pop-up.
Yeah, that's real cool, especially for teams that are coming from Trello and expect that kind of thing to happen.
So heavily used in the code review space, obviously, and I would expect that it would be looked at in conjunction with that.
Cool.
Are there general APIs for reading Phabricator data?
There's a whole mess of APIs, and it's all JSON REST-based. So yeah, there's a pretty nice Python wrapper, Python-Phabricator, written by the Discuss guys, and that's a fairly good introduction to the API overall. And transmission.
Thanks, guys.
Any more questions? Last chance? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the great talk, Andre.
Thank you, everybody. All right.